Welcome to the Tiny Talks Tesla podcast, episode 3. Today we talk about Tesla's move towards opening more retail locations and what this indicates for the future of Tesla. Okay, folks, let's jump right in here on episode 3 of the Tiny Talks Tesla podcast for August 17th, 2020. You might remember a couple of different occasions during Tesla's storied history in which Tesla closed its retail locations or talked about closing retail locations in favor of pushing the online sales component of their business model. As many listeners will know, Tesla essentially has two types of locations. There's Tesla sales retail locations or Tesla showrooms for the actual selling of Tesla cars. At those locations, you can arrange test drives, you can take delivery of vehicles, you can talk to them about pricing, that kind of stuff. However, in many states, the states have declared Tesla's direct sales model as illegal. That's due to conflicts with the National Automotive Dealership Association. In those states, Tesla has erected Tesla galleries. Those are locations at which customers find no salespeople, but instead are met by product specialists who are available to educate potential customers about the vehicles. And then customers may make their purchases online and have the vehicles delivered to them. Anecdotal reports about customer experiences at both types of locations have been absolutely excellent for the most part. In my opinion, that could be because of the vast difference between the Tesla buying experience and all other cars. Even at Tesla retail locations where they're supposedly trying to sell you a car, the salespeople do not work on commission for the large part. So there's no pressure placed upon the customers to make a purchase. I can tell you from personal experience because I went to the retail sales location in Charlotte, North Carolina last summer. I actually had the customer experience there. I can't remember the salesperson's name, and that's on me. I have to apologize for that. I'm sorry. I think his name was Reggie, but I'm not sure. I plan to call him Reggie for the purpose of this conversation, though. So when I walked in with my son, Reggie introduced himself to both of us. And he took about 15 total seconds to orient us in the dealership. We were inside the showroom, and he basically said the Model S is over there, the Model 3 is over there, and the Model X is over there. And then he asked if we had any questions or needs right then. I told him that we just wanted to look at the vehicles, and he simply told us, have a good time. He said, okay, have a good time, look around, sit in the vehicles. I'll either be at the desk or helping other customers, but either way, feel free to ask me if you need anything at all. Then, true to his word, Reggie went and helped out other customers. Now, my son and I looked around and we instantly fell in love with the Model X. It was sitting in the showroom with one of the Falcon Wing doors open, and we climbed in to experience it for ourselves. At the time, my son was 10 years old, and he loved the hands-free closing of the driver's side door. And of course, the giant touchscreen up front was a huge hit with him. Now, I told my son not to mess with the screen too much, but Reggie actually overruled me. A minute or so later, he walked by and he told us both, don't worry about exploring the touchscreen. We've got it in showroom mode, so you can't do anything to hurt it too bad. Then he gave a laugh and he showed my son how to access the Tesla Arcade for video games. Well, of course, that was game over. Now my son's playing video games on Tesla Arcade inside of a vehicle. He was losing it. He was so happy. He was off to the races playing video games. I looked up a second later and Reggie was already back over at his desk. You want to talk about zero pressure. I mean, he wasn't putting any pressure on us at all. Reggie made us feel so comfortable that my son even walked over to the desk by himself and asked Reggie a question about the car. I didn't hear the question, but Reggie came right over and started explaining the Falcon Wing doors to him. He spoke directly to my son as if he was a regular adult customer. That was excellent to see and hear. It's obvious that my son does not have the ability to take out a loan or to purchase a vehicle, but Reggie treated him exactly as if he would treat any other adult customer. Then Reggie gave a quick demonstration and then went over to help a couple who were looking at the Model 3. There was no pressure, no talk of prices, no promises about what he could do. If you'll just purchase today, I can get my manager to approve, blah, 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 blah. None of that. In fact, after the whole experience, we shook hands. This was pre-COVID, of course, and Reggie said to check out the website to see all the different combinations of options that were available. I mean, that's pretty much amazing. Here he is, ostensibly a salesperson, trying to make sales, and he actually directed me away from the the sales floor to the website and said, explore all the options and make your purchase online if that makes you feel more comfortable. Then he said, come back any time if my kid wanted to play on the Tesla arcade some more. You want to talk about the utter opposite of anything I have ever experienced at any type of car dealership in my entire life. It made a big-time Tesla fanatic out of both me and my son. But I didn't place an actual order for a Tesla until nearly a year later, and that order was a Cybertruck, a vehicle that had not even been unveiled yet at the time of our visit to the retail location. My experience held very true to what others have anecdotally reported experiencing at Tesla retail locations. For us, it made an impact on our brand loyalty. Prior to that visit, Tesla was a company about which we were aware, about which we were interested and excited, but the visit to the retail center to see the mission in action is what caused the switch to flip to actual brand loyalty. We ended up in the market for a pickup truck not long after that experience. My wife and I really wanted a pickup truck, but we chose to wait until the Cybertruck unveiled rather than to purchase an ICE pickup truck right then. Then after the unveil, we eventually decided to place a reservation and we made the commitment to wait for the production release. That is at least one ICE pickup truck that is not being sold in favor of waiting for the Tesla offering in that segment. We can't be the only people who have done that. That was the impact of Tesla, in no small part due to the fun and relaxed experience of being at the Tesla retail location. Now, with that in mind, we turn to the fact that as recently as early 2019, Tesla's stated intention was to phase out retail locations almost entirely. They were using that as a cost-saving method to help lower the retail price of its vehicles. We were reminded of that fact in a recent report by Teslarati just this month. My personal opinion on closing retail establishments aside, I can see the Tesla corporate perspective on closing retail locations, especially galleries, which ostensibly produce no direct revenue. With Tesla's mission statement to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, which of course is recently updated from the previous mission statement of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable transport, it is clear to see why big Tesla might make the decision to cut retail locations and galleries in order to be able to reduce the price of their vehicles. And would that plan have worked? With a little luck, we may never know. Teslarati's August 4th report further noted that it appears that Tesla is cranking up their retail presence rather than making any effort to scale it back. From the Teslarati article, we read, quote, recent job postings on Tesla's career website indicate that the company is ramping the presence of its showrooms and retail locations. These changes will affect several U.S. locations along with showrooms in Canada, Europe, and Asia. Now, end quote. Now, at that point, I actually hit up the website and I took a look at their career website, and it's clear that this is totally true, and it's still true now, almost 2 weeks later. There's job openings all over the planet for retail locations, salespersons, customer support, and product advisors. And with that said, I can now open up and say that my personal opinion is that retail locations should absolutely stay open, and I vehemently agree with the idea of expanding the retail and gallery presence in the public eye rather than reducing it. Teslarati noted correctly that the reason that Tesla was able to weather the recent health-related storm so effectively was that the robustness of their online sales model seamlessly carried them through with little or no effort to alter or change the online sales presence. Because of the fact that Tesla uses their online presence to sell directly to their customers, there was no alteration to the sales experience for the vast majority of their buyers, in spite of circumstances in March and April preventing Tesla from welcoming customers into their retail locations. Elon Musk has often gushed about the fact that customers are able to use the Tesla website to purchase a car in as little as 2 minutes or even less by using the Tesla Design Studio on the Tesla.com website. Myself, I actually have a habit of jumping into the Design Studio about once a day to design myself a Model X Performance or a Roadster 2.0 just for fun and maybe a little creative visualization in hopes of manifesting the dream car one day soon. I'm betting that I'm not the only one who does that either. But even so, we have all had the experience of purchasing something that looks great online, only to find out that it wasn't what we expected when it finally arrives on our doorstep. That's not such a monumental deal when the product was a sweater or a pair of shoes, but when dealing with a purchase as major as a motor vehicle, For most people, it is not something that would be considered an impulse buy. For that reason, Tesla galleries and retail locations are a phenomenal thing because they have the ability of eliminating the hesitance and apprehension associated with making a major purchase exclusively online. And one major element to the Tesla success story is word of mouth. Stephen Mark Ryan from the YouTube channel Solving the Money Problem says it like this: the more Teslas that Tesla sells, the more Teslas that Tesla sells. Tesla products come complete with an excitement factor that isn't often duplicated in the world of product design. When someone purchases a Tesla, most people cannot resist the urge to get family and friends into the car to ride in it or to drive it. This often results in new interest and new customers for the Tesla brand. This is evidenced to some degree in the incredible success of the Tesla referral program. But does the word-of-mouth, grassroots, organic type of primal marketing have the ability to replace the retail location experience or the gallery education experience? I would contend that it does not. If it did, then there would most likely be almost zero vehicles returned during the 7-day return period. If someone test drives the vehicle at a retail location, then they waive the ability to return the vehicle during that 7-day period. Now, that's a policy with which I actually agree. I contend that the spirit of the 7-day return policy is to allow people to order the vehicle online and be comfortable in the notion that they are able to return it after taking delivery of the vehicle if the experience is not on par with what they expected or desired. They can return a vehicle within 7 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. Imagine being able to drive a vehicle for 999 miles and then decide, you know what, this isn't the right car for me, and be able to send it back for a full refund. If they have attended a retail location and experienced a test drive, then the need for such a policy evaporates to a large degree, as they have had that in-car experience with it and they know whether or not that vehicle is what they expect and desire. With that having been said, if all sales made as a result of word of mouth were due to a positive experience with and in a Tesla owned by a friend or family member, then it would be a rare event indeed for any vehicles at all to be returned during that 7-day period. Of course, I know it's completely unreasonable to think that all customers would be totally satisfied and the return rate would drop to absolute zero, but my hypothesis remains. If the Tesla army could completely replace the retail and gallery experience, then everyone who took delivery of a Tesla would be so well educated on the product prior to purchase that no one would feel the need to return them. It's in that realm, among others, that the retail locations are, for the time being, essentially irreplaceable. Seeing the product in person, sitting in it, feeling the quality of those components, seeing those components in action, those experiences elicit emotions in the potential customer that simply cannot be replaced by a photo or a video. In the absence of friends and family who are owners, a prospective buyer would need a retail location to be available in order to have that experience, to feel those emotions. In addition, seeing the Tesla mission in action and watching their employees conduct themselves consistent with that mission, but contrary to typical dealership unpleasantness, that is an event that has the potential to create a level of interest and even brand loyalty without a purchase being made. There is an accomplishment about which Tesla can and should be proud. It's also a demonstration of the need for those retail locations and those galleries, in my humble, non-expert opinion. Now, I have no clue as to whether or not the presence of the retail locations and galleries actually generates enough sales conversions such that the return on investment makes business sense. That type of a question is better left to a genius like Ben Sullins or somebody who crunches those type of numbers. I personally think I lack the intellectual capital to free the data in the way that Ben Sullins does. Shout out to Ben Sullins. But I have to contend that Tesla would not be expanding its retail presence the way that it is now if the numbers didn't make business sense. The continued existence and the current expansion of Tesla's showrooms and galleries are clear-cut evidence that the customer excitement, the brand loyalty, the sales and revenue generated by those locations are very likely much greater than the financial cost of installing and maintaining those locations. Now, let me know what you think. Have you been to a Tesla showroom or a Tesla gallery? What was your experience? Leave me a comment below or record a quick reply and email it to me at thereallifetiny@gmail.com. That's thereallifetiny@gmail.com. I will choose some of those responses and I'll play them on a future episode. Thanks for listening, and subscribe with notifications if you'd like to be notified of future episodes. I'll see you next time.